She walked into NXT, and nobody left the same. One title, one brand. And the women who held that championship didn't just wrestle. They rewrote the rules of what women's wrestling could be. Some of them broke records. Some of them broke hearts. And some of them, they broke the entire industry wide open. This is not just a list. This is a legacy. Welcome to Slam Nation. Before we get into this, if you are a die-hard wrestling fan who lives for these moments, do yourself a favor right now. Smash that like button, subscribe to Slam Nation, and hit that notification bell because we drop content that hits different. Share this video with your wrestling crew. Drop a comment telling us who your favorite NXT Women's Champion is, and let's get into it, because this list is about to start arguments. May 12th, 2026. NXT is live at the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida. The women's division is on fire. Izzy Dame just laid out NXT Women's Champion Lola Vice with a vicious big boot that shook the entire arena. Zarya walked out on her own tag team partner mid-match, and a brawl spilled into the ringside area, wiping out an injured Ren Sinclair. The WWE Universe exploded after this happened. But here's the thing, this kind of chaos, this kind of electricity, it didn't start on May 12th, 2026. It started 13 years ago, and it started with one woman. Number 10, Ember Moon. When Ember Moon debuted in NXT, fans didn't know what they were looking at. Then she hit the Eclipse, that breathtaking moonsault off the top rope, and the entire Capitol Wrestling Center went silent before it erupted. Ember won the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver War Games in a fatal four-way match that nobody expected her to win. Fans could not believe what they were seeing. But what happened next shocked everyone. Shayna Baszler was coming for everything she had, and Baszler would stop at nothing to take that title back. The war between these two women was raw, vicious, and completely unpredictable. Ember Moon may have had a shorter reign, but she earned her place in this history forever. Number 9, Kairi Sane. This one gave the whole WWE Universe goosebumps. Kairi Sane, the pirate princess from Japan, walked into NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, climbed to the top of the highest turnbuckle, and launched herself into history with the insane elbow. She pinned the dominant Shayna Baszler and became NXT Women's Champion. The crowd at the Barclays Center lost their minds. Nobody expected this moment. Not like that. Not that clean. Not that beautiful. Kairi's reign was short, but her championship win remains one of the most emotionally charged moments in NXT Women's history. The image of her clutching that title with tears in her eyes, that's the kind of thing that reminds you why wrestling matters. Number 8, Rhea Ripley. Here's where things get dark. Rhea Ripley didn't win the NXT Women's Championship with a smile and a hug. She won it by being the most physically dominant woman to ever set foot in that black and gold ring. Cold, calculated, and absolutely terrifying. And then, WrestleMania 36. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. The world was watching. This completely changed everything. Charlotte Flair showed up and took that title in a WrestleMania match on what should have been the biggest night of Rhea's career. The way the WWE Universe reacted? Heartbroken, devastated. But here's the thing, that moment didn't break Rhea Ripley. It built her into the nightmare we know today on the main roster. Sometimes you have to lose everything to become something unstoppable. Number 7, Io Shirai, the genius of the sky. And she is exactly that. When Io Shirai finally won the NXT Women's Championship, it felt like years of frustration and near misses all exploding in one single moment. She had been right there, scratching, clawing, diving off of everything. And then it finally happened. Things became even more chaotic backstage when Io's heel turn shocked the entire NXT locker room. The sweet, beloved fan favorite turned ice cold, turned vicious, and somehow became even more compelling because of it. Io Shirai's championship run was arguably the most athletically brilliant the brand has ever seen. She was doing things in that ring that people still slow down on YouTube just to watch again. Pure wrestling genius. Number 6, Mandy Rose. And here's where this list gets controversial. Mandy Rose walked into NXT as a model, a pretty face, someone critics thought would never carry a brand. Then she held the NXT Women's Championship for over 400 days. 400 days. The WWE Universe exploded after this happened. Because nobody, and we mean nobody, saw it coming. Her Toxic Attraction faction owned NXT. They ran that brand with an iron fist. And Mandy Rose, night after night, proved every single doubter wrong. She had matches that told real stories. She had a presence that commanded attention. And when her reign finally ended, people mourned it. Only 3 women in NXT history ever held that title for 365 days or more. Mandy Rose was one of them. Let that sink in. Number 5. Charlotte Flair. You cannot tell the story of the NXT Women's Championship without talking about the woman who helped build the foundation. Charlotte Flair didn't inherit greatness. She earned it. Before the 10 championship reigns. Before the WrestleMania main events. Before all of it, there was NXT. Her first reign lasted 258 days. She was dominant, calculating, and completely unreadable. And when she moved to the main roster, you could see it in her eyes that NXT had made her something different, something dangerous. Then she came back in 2020 and took the title from Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, becoming a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. And the backstage tension that followed was something the WWE Universe had never seen before. Charlotte Flair didn't just pass through NXT. She left a fingerprint on it that will never wash off. Number 4. Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades. And she plays for keeps. Shayna Baszler is the most feared champion in NXT women's history. She didn't just win matches. She ended careers with that Kirifuda clutch. She made people tap out like it was breathing. And the cold, dead look in her eyes while she did it sent chills through every single arena she stepped into. 2 title reigns, a combined dominance that put the entire women's division on notice. Kairi Sane beat her once, but Shayna came back and took everything away again. But what happened next shocked everyone. Baszler's rivalry with Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, and Io Shirai created some of the most intense, compelling television NXT has ever aired. The kind of storytelling that makes you forget this is scripted because the hate feels so real. Shayna Baszler is the oldest woman to win the NXT Women's Championship, the most ruthless, and arguably the greatest pure villain that division has ever produced. Number 3. Sasha Banks. Oh, you knew she was going to be here. You knew. Sasha Banks, the boss, arrived in NXT and immediately made everyone else feel like they were standing in her shadow. The arrogance, the charisma, the ability to make you hate her and still refuse to look away. She beat Charlotte Flair at NXT TakeOver, rival to become champion. And then came the feud with Bayley. And that feud became something bigger than wrestling. Their match at NXT TakeOver, Brooklyn in August 2015, is widely considered one of the greatest women's wrestling matches in the history of the industry. Not NXT history, wrestling history. Fans could not believe what they were seeing. 2 women putting on a clinic that main roster superstars couldn't touch. That match changed everything. That match proved, once and for all, that women's wrestling belonged at the very top of the card. The boss. Forever. Number 2. Bayley. And this is where it gets emotional. Because Bayley's NXT Championship run wasn't just great wrestling. It was a love story between a performer and her audience that the WWE Universe has never fully replicated. She beat Sasha Banks at TakeOver, Brooklyn. The crowd sang her entrance theme. Grown adults had tears running down their faces. Little girls in the crowd clutched their Bayley blow-up buddies and screamed. Then came NXT TakeOver, Respect, the first ever Iron Women's match in NXT history. 30 minutes. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Again, and it was somehow even better than Brooklyn. Bayley held the NXT Women's Championship for 223 days. But the legacy she built? That's forever. Things became even more chaotic backstage when Bayley was chosen to carry the NXT brand almost entirely on her own after the 4 horsewomen left for the main roster. And she didn't just survive. She thrived. She elevated talents like Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Nia Jax just by sharing the ring with them. Bayley changed what a WWE champion could look like. She proved that you didn't have to be a villain to be a legend. Number 1. Asuka. Did you really think it was going to be anyone else? On April 1st, 2016 at NXT TakeOver, Dallas, Asuka defeated Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship. And from that moment forward, for 510 days, nobody, and we mean nobody, beat her. Not once. Not ever. 510 days of dominance, so complete, so absolute, so terrifying. that Asuka left NXT undefeated and immediately became the most dangerous woman on the main WWE roster. She broke the longest undefeated streak in professional wrestling history, shattering Goldberg's record. The WWE Universe exploded after this happened. Night after night, takeover after takeover, Asuka would lock eyes with whoever stood across the ring from her: Bayley, Ember Moon, Mickie James, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and she would make them look like they had never wrestled before in their lives. Her championship reign didn't just define NXT women's wrestling. It defined what a dominant champion looks like in any era of WWE. When Asuka finally left for the main roster, she didn't just leave with the record. She left with something more powerful. She left with the respect of every person who had ever watched a wrestling match. She is the greatest NXT women's champion of all time. There is no debate. And now, in 2026, the NXT women's division is entering a new era of chaos. Current champion Lola Vice won the title at Stand v Deliver on April 4, 2026, by defeating Jacy Jayne and Kendall Gray in a triple threat match. But on May 12th, Izzy Dame laid her out with a vicious big boot on live television and stood over her like she owned the entire brand. The Sharks are circling. Kendall Gray wants that title. Izzy Dame wants that title. And the way things are going, the NXT Women's Championship is about to be at the center of the most explosive storyline in the brand's recent history. This completely changed everything. What happens next? Nobody knows. But Slam Nation will be here for every single second of it. That's the top 10 greatest NXT Women's Champions, ranked, broken down, and delivered the Slam Nation way. Now here's what we need from you right now. If you made it this far, you are a real one. Subscribe to Slam Nation and never miss a moment of WWE breakdown content like this. Hit that like button. It takes 1 second, and it means everything to a channel like ours. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, because this conversation needs to happen everywhere. And drop a comment right now. Who is your greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time? Are you riding with Asuka? Defending Bayley? Going to bat for Sasha Banks? Or is there a dark horse on this list you think deserves more credit? We read every single comment. This community is built on passion, on debate, on the love of this sport. So get in there and make some noise. New Slam Nation content drops soon. And trust us, what's coming next is going to shake the WWE Universe to its core. Until then, stay loud, stay passionate, and never stop watching. This is Slam Nation, and we're just getting started.